up, YouTube? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how do we release neck tightness for those of us who are sitting at our desks often, looking at our computers, looking at our phone. This is going to be really helpful for 95% of us out there. So we're going to go through basic stretching, release, and strengthening. So all three of those are pretty important to kind of keep up with long-term rehab. And we don't want to just stretch a muscle. A lot of the times there are muscle imbalances that are contributing to whenever a muscle feels tight. So there are muscle imbalances that we want to kind of fix, and I'll address that a little bit in this video as we get further on. So for now, let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's get into it. So the first two stretches I'm going to show you guys are for our upper trap muscle and another muscle in our neck that's called the levator scapula. So our upper traps run from along here all the way to the base of our skull. And that upper trap contributes to lateral neck flexion. That's whenever we just bend our neck over and drop our ear to our shoulder. It does that on the same side. So my left trap, it's gonna left side bend me. And then it's gonna do opposite rotation. So if I look to my right shoulder, it's actually that left upper trap that lets me look over to my right shoulder. So in order to stretch a muscle, you have to pull it in its opposite direction. If my left upper trap side bends to the same side, to stretch it, I have to stretch to the other side. And you guys might already see that that pops out a little bit. But now, that left upper trap normally would rotate to my right side. So I'm gonna rotate and look up to my left side. Some of you might feel a good stretch there, some of you might not. If you want a little bit more of an intense stretch, think of reaching your left shoulder down by reaching your fingers down to the floor. See if you get a better stretch there. So you could hold that for about 30 seconds. You could hold a little bit longer if it feels really good. So that's stretch number one. Stretch number two is that levator scapula. Your levator scapula is underneath your trap, and it's pretty close. Its attachment points are similar, not quite the same. The actions of our levator scapula are to side bend again in the same side, but also rotate me towards the same side. So to stretch it, we're going to need to do the opposite. So that would be side bending over to my right shoulder. And then instead of rotating to my left, I'm going to rotate to my right. So I'm going to look down at my armpit. And then for this one especially, I like to give myself a little bit of a chin tuck. So I like to look down even. That feels really good. Again, with this left shoulder, kind of draw it down by reaching your fingertips towards the floor. And that's gonna get a little bit more in the back. You might feel that difference there. So same thing, you're gonna hold that for at least 30 seconds. You can hold it for 45 seconds, up to a minute. Both of those are completely fine. So the next thing I'm gonna show you is how to kind of release those trigger points or those knots that develop in those two muscles. Sometimes it's our upper trap and sometimes it's our levator scapula. Either way, we're going to release this muscle by applying pressure to the most tender spot, to that spot that feels like it's, whenever you rubbing against it and you can feel the knot kind of push side to side. You're looking for that, and you're looking just for the spot that is more tender and sensitive. So it might be a part of your upper trap, it might be a part of your levator scapula. It can be a little bit difficult to tell sometimes because that upper trap is resting above your levator scapula. But just get a feel for it. So I'm gonna point it out to you. So let me make sure this is right. All right, so your upper trap, you can grab this chunk of muscle up here. That is your upper trap. You can kind of shut it out of the way, and underneath you might feel for your levator scapula. Either way, if you're having some neck pain, poke around in this area and see if you feel a spot that feels, you know, pretty tender. So for me, I have a spot right here. I can feel a little knot. And whenever I apply pressure, it's just kind of that like, ooh, that hurts so good pain. That's the spot that I'm going to apply pressure. I'm going to apply pressure by using a ball. This is a little on the squishier side. It'd be nicer if it was a little bit less squishy. You guys can think of a lacrosse ball, something maybe just a little bit smaller than a tennis ball, but if a tennis ball is all you have, then by all means try a tennis ball. So you're going to place yourself up against a wall and you're gonna put this on that spot right there. That's the spot for me. And you're gonna press yourself against a wall to apply some pressure. So I'm gonna show you guys this right now. So once you have your ball, you're gonna find that spot that's the most tender, as we talked about, somewhere all along here. Could be a little bit lower, could be a little bit higher. You're gonna place your ball on that spot and you're gonna come and push yourself up against a wall. So make sure that your ribs aren't flaring whenever you're pressing yourself up against the wall. We want kind of this tucked position. So if my ribs are flaring, I'm kind of in that position. We want to draw our ribs down and kind of tuck our pelvis at the same time. Holding that position, we're gonna press against the wall. So once you find a spot that feels really good, like that hurt so good, tender, you're gonna apply the pressure for 30 seconds, maybe up to 120 seconds. So wherever it feels good. If the pressure is too much, just maybe reduce it by coming a little bit further away from the wall and adjust as necessary and what's comfortable for you. Some people like it harder, some people like it, less hard. And sometimes we're really sensitive. So if you're in that really sensitive phase, it's completely fine to apply the pressure really lightly. It feels like whenever somebody's giving you a massage and they're applying pressure to your knot, that's your trigger point. That can feel really good. So it's kind of the same. You just don't have to pay for a masseuse to do it, right? This is our free workaround. So yep. Hold that 30 to 120 seconds or 2 minutes. Okay, you guys, so now we're gonna move on to chin tucks to work on counteracting that forward head position. So oftentimes what happens to our muscles is that they can adapt depending on if we're holding positions for a long time. Some muscles are going to be kind of lengthened and overstretched, while other muscles are going to become kind of tight from holding those certain positions. So whenever you're sitting and you're kind of in this hunched position and you're doing that, you're looking at a screen, or even whenever you're looking at your phone, people who ride their bikes to work or to commute, and they have like a backpack per se, that backpack kind of up on your shoulders, it's a very natural tendency to do this position. So it's happening from repeating this position over and over, or holding this position for hours on end. What happens is that our deep neck flexors up here are getting lengthened because the reciprocal muscle, the muscle that does the opposite action. So back here, our upper neck muscles here are getting shortened because they're holding this position. So those upper neck extensors they do this. So forward neck is really a combination of kind of two things happening. Your neck muscles here at the base of your neck are contracting, so they're pulling your head forward. But then up here at the base of your skull, these muscles back here are contracting, and so you get this position. We call this position a forward head, but also protraction. This is neck protraction. So it's flexion down here with these muscles, and then extension back here at the base of your skull. And so that's why you get this position. So our chin tuck is counterbalancing that position. We're working to strengthen those deep neck flexors. And because we are contracting those deep neck flexors, that means that the muscles in the back are going to be reciprocally inhibited and they're going to lengthen. So this is a really important part, especially if you guys just keep doing neck stretches, neck stretches, neck stretches, and you're wondering why it's not helping that much. There is more to it that is going to help with long-term like healing and feeling better. We can't just stretch over and over. The stretch is just one component of it. So we need to address kind of these muscle imbalances that may be taking place. All right, so chin tuck exercise. Make sure your shoulders are rolled down. Again, you're not in this duck position. You're drawing your tummy in. We're gonna, if somebody just came right up to you, they came right up to you and they pushed your chin straight back, this is what it would look like. Pushing my chin straight back. I'm giving myself a double chin, right? I know it's an ugly exercise, but don't mind that. So if somebody had a string here at the base of your skull, imagine that they're pulling up on the string and you're pushing your chin back at the same time. So that's gonna feel like the back of your neck is lengthening and your chin is pushing straight back into your skull. You don't wanna over-activate these lower neck flexors here by just tucking your chin down. You don't wanna just do that. You wanna chin straight back, maybe down a little bit. So it's a minor tilt with the chin straight back. So you're gonna perform that for anywhere from 12 reps to 20 reps. If that starts to feel a little bit more comfortable, you feel like you can handle a little bit more, you could hold your chin tuck for 4 seconds and then relax. Do that for 12 to 20 reps. If that becomes comfortable, then you can use a wall and do it against the wall. Putting pressure, doing your chin tucks against the wall is just gonna give you a little bit of resistance to activate those deep neck flexors just a little bit more. So find your wall. Again, we don't want this duck position, ribs down, pelvis is slightly tucked. Come stand right against the wall. And then you're gonna perform your chin tuck straight back. So straight back, straight back, straight back. And let that go. Again, you're not just kind of looking down. Okay, look at the wall directly in front of you and try to get your chin back. And think of lengthening the back of your skull up towards the ceiling at the same time. All right, you guys, so that is it for our exercises and our stretches today. I hope it feels really good. I hope some of you get some relief out of all 3 of those. Let me know in the comments below if you try them and share them with anybody you think might benefit. A lot of people who work at their desks or staring at screens or staring at their phones are gonna benefit from this kind of series. So let me know if you try it out and I'll see you guys in the next video.